my name is Erica, and welcome to my channel. This is my July wrap-up. This month there's no TBR or anything. I didn't really, I don't know. I should have like set my one up, I guess. So I'm just kind of going with what I did last month, which is to kind of rotate through all the books I have by reading one from my shelf, one ebook, one from the pile of borrowed books I have, one from the 2 bags that do not fit on any of my shelves, and then one from my gigantic pile of TBR stuff that's over there. So we're kind of just going through that. I actually have like a post-it that just has the order, and I just, like, if I read one from the shelf, I check off next to shelf and then read whatever's next. Although I'm stuck on shelf right now, but that's okay. So the first book that I completed this month was Layla, the Black Tulip by Ella Little Courtier. This is a part of the Girls of Many Lands series. It's the one about Turkey. It takes place in 1720 in Istanbul, and if you want to see a full review for this, check out my Read-A-Rama wrap-up, because it is in there, because it was the second book I read on the final day of Read-A-Rama. And then the next book that I completed in July, I love these books so much. So this is Charm by Sarah Pinborough. It is a wicked Cinderella tale. First of all, please just stare at the book for a minute because it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love these books. They are just like your standard cloth-bound book, but the design on them is actually embossed in it, and it's gorgeous, and it does it on both sides, and it's just, I love them. I love them so much. I love the inside of them. The inside like follows the same design pattern and everything. It's so pretty. So this is the second in a series. The first was Poison. If you go back to like my March wrap up, you can see a whole thing about that, because I actually read it while I was on vacation in Vermont. I found it in a little bookstore, and it just called to me, and then I read it, and I loved it, and I bought the 2 that match, so I could have 3 pretty matching ones on my shelf someday when I have room to put all the books on my shelves. Yeah. Anyway, so this one is the Cinderella Tale. It's the second one in the series. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 out of 5 because I couldn't even put it down. I started it on the 4th. I had about 50 pages left when I woke up on the 5th, and I finished it on the 5th. And I loved it. It's just, so this is a fairy tale retelling, obviously. It says it's a wicked retelling. But that's the whole thing. It's a wicked retelling, meaning that there's a lot more of the kind of evil, devious side of a fairy tale in it. There's a lot more exploration of the people who are considered villains. In these are relatively short books, but they're really fast reads. They're fast-paced. They are adult, though. I do not suggest them for somebody that's probably under like 16, because they do have some pretty strong language and lewd scenes, and there is a lot of sex in these, which is actually part of why I love them so much, because the sex scenes in these are not like, they're definitely not for the weak of heart. And they're not like, they don't take up full like sections of the book, but there's enough description and stuff that's like, all right, okay, I get it, just go on, you go on with your bad stuff. Yeah, so this one is Cinderella. The first thing that I noticed in reading this was Cinderella's dad is not dead, which was kind of fascinating, because all I remember from Cinderella, every time I've read Cinderella, every time I've seen Cinderella, is that Cinderella's parents are dead, and that's how she ends up with the stepmother. In this case, the father has remarried a woman that he fell in love with, and she's your evil stepmother. And Cinderella's basically, she's still kind of more, she's not paid attention to as much as the stepsister is. There's only one stepsister in the house in this because the other stepsister has already been married off into court. And the reason why Cinderella doesn't go to court like the stepmother and her stepsister Rose can is that she's not actually from noble blood, but they were actually born from an earl, so they have noble blood in them. which I thought was kind of an interesting take. The relationship between Cinderella and Rose, her stepsister, is really interesting, and I think it's kind of true to just in general sisters and mixed families and stuff like or blended families. It felt very relatable, I guess, in that they kind of have their moments where they really don't understand each other, but then they're very much there for each other and very caring, and I like that. I like that they had a real relationship as sisters and not something that was just like, oh, they're so in love with each other and they're best friends, or they hate each other and they just want to kill each other kind of thing. I did really, really, really like the moments where I recognized characters from Poison being in it, and then was just waiting for their reveal. I thought that was fun because there was one character in particular that comes in pretty early that if you've already read Poison, like, you should know who that is right off the bat, and I kind of was like, that's who that is, right? And then I was just waiting, and then when the reveal came, it was like, oh, see, I knew. And then I did like the prince in this is just like, it's so funny to me. If you've seen Into the Woods, any incarnation of Into the Woods, the prince in that, who basically just says, I was meant to be charming, he's not supposed to be anything else, that is who this prince is. He's the same type of prince. He is very shallow in that he picks women based on how they look, and then he consistently just doesn't like them once they start speaking. Like, he doesn't like women that are of like their own mind or anything like that, and he doesn't like women that seem to be below his stature, but he just goes by pretty girls. So it's really, he's an interesting character. He's also super whiny and spoiled, and he's annoying, and I really don't like him, and anything bad that comes to him I'm always like cheering, so that's fun. A little nod to Robin Hood in here, and there's a little nod to Rumpelstiltskin in here too, which is pretty cool. And that it's really fun. I don't know, I like stuff like that. Anyway, I love, obviously, if you have watched any of my videos, you know, every month I seem to read at least like 3 or 4 fairy tale retellings. I really like them, and I really, 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 really enjoy Sarah Pinborough's writing style. I think it's really interesting, and she just she uses words that I haven't even, like, I know what they are. I have pretty good vocabulary, and I know what they are, but I've never used them in a sentence before, and I'm always just kind of, oh, that word, good word. And I'm one of those people who will consistently say things like, oh, yeah, $10 vocab word, I like that. Just when you read a word that's like, it's used so well, I like that. She's got a wordiness to her writing without it being so wordy that you get lost and you can't be part of the story. And I really like her descriptions and stuff too. Her descriptive like style. And again, I like the relationship she made between people. I really liked the relationship as it developed in this too. I'm not going to tell you between who, because again, it would be a spoiler, but there is a relationship that develops in this, and I really thought it was kind of ridiculous, but in like the best way, and very much in the way it should be in fairy tales, meaning that it kind of gave a fairy tale happy ending to one character's story, which just you need even in a retelling, you still need it in there just for it to be classified as fairy tale. Yeah, fictional character that I had never heard even described this way. Cinderella's completely different in this than she's been in any other retelling that I've read, I guess. And I like that. I love that. Actually, that's kind of one of my favorite things when I read. I read a lot of fairy tale retellings because I like them, but because I love fairy tales so much, and I love that fairy tales can be molded consistently to be something else, that people can take a character and change it, and you can still know what the nuances are of that character. I like a lot of retellings and stuff like that from classics too, like Wizard of Oz retellings, that kind of stuff. But when I read one, I like when the character is a little bit different and I learn something new about the character, because I feel like it's just like when you learn something new about an old friend or something like that. So the next book that I finished this month was Beauty by Sarah Pinborough. Surprise, surprise! This is a Wicked Sleeping Beauty tale. It is the third and I believe final book in the Tales from the Palace, or Tales from the Kingdom. Tales from the Kingdom series by her, which is all more adult retellings of just fairy tales. This one, they were all great. This was really, really, really good. I really liked this one. I actually think my favorite of the three was Charm, which was the Cinderella one I had read earlier this month. But this one actually has, you get your Sleeping Beauty, you get your Sleeping Beauty references like Sleeping Beauty herself and the King, and even like a Maleficent type character, or Maleficent type character, however you would like to pronounce that. And then there's also a Rumpelstiltskin character, a Rapunzel character. You've got your huntsman stuff from the previous tales as well. Who else was in it? I don't even know. Oh, there's even like references to Beauty and the Beast. It's really cool the way all of the like remaining fairy tales you're kind of wondering that might come around get like thrown into this one. And I really liked it. I really liked the Wicked aspect of it a lot. I really, really enjoyed the Beast aspect. I thought that was really cool and really interesting and really, really disturbing at some points. I do, again, want to stress that this is an adult fairy tale retelling. This is not meant for younger readers. It's all based on like how mature your reader is, obviously, but it's just, I wouldn't say, like, I would not hand this to my 13-year-old niece. Just putting that out there. That's my opinion. Again, I really, 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 really just adore Sarah Pinborough's writing style, and I am determined to read more by her. So if you have read anything by Sarah Pinborough, could you please let me know what it was, what you thought of it, if I should read that next? Give me some ideas, because I need some, because I don't know what else she's written other than like the back of this. It says it's like she was part of like a horror movie that was coming out or something, and that she's done some YA stuff, but I'm not sure what. So if somebody could direct me to what I should read next by Sarah Pinborough, I would greatly appreciate it. So, I mean, like, they're so, so pretty. The softcover ones are really nice too, but it's just, I mean, look at it. It's just so pretty. They're so pretty. Those are the kind of books that, like, for me, just call to me and say, buy me, and then I did. But yeah, in general, the whole series was really great. If you're into fairy tale retellings, I really, really, really I highly recommend to read it. Really excited that I finished out another series too, because I didn't take years to get through it. I started it in March. It's July and I finished it. I love when that happens. So the next book I read this month was actually the first one, The Chronicles of Narnia. I'm reading it in the... Okay, so if you look up Chronicles of Narnia ever, depending on what year's version of Chronicles of Narnia you get, there's a different order to the books. There's 7 books in total for the whole series. And based on publication, you read the books in one order, but if you read them based on how the publisher suggests it and how, I guess, like C.S. Lewis wanted them to be read, you read them in a different order. So I'm reading them in the order that the publisher suggests. Basically because it makes sense to read the prequel before because of what it is and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I started with either, depending on which one you're doing, it's book 1 if you're doing it based on how the publisher suggests, and book 6 if you're reading them based on the publication dates. It's called The Magician's Nephew, and obviously it's by C.S. Lewis, and I thought it was really fun. It's a really short book. It's only 189 pages. So it's a pretty quick read. I love the style of it. I've always kind of loved the style of, I guess, older literature. It's a different style altogether. I think that just plays into like why I was an English major in college, why I have a degree in English, that kind of stuff. So I always like that kind of style of writing. And C.S. Lewis's style was kind of playful, and you can definitely see where the undertones of like religion and stuff are in there, but I again, it's one of those I'm reading and I'm like, why was this banned? Because at one point people banned Chronicles of Narnia, and at one point it was very much like thought to be sacrilege, like the way they talk about religion in it. I guess, I'm not really sure. So far I understand like there's a little bit of an undertone about religion in there, but nothing crazy. Really, it's kind of just using some well-known from the Bible. The story Magician's Nephew is actually, it's a prequel to like your stories about Lucy and everybody that you're used to if you've ever watched the Chronicles of Narnia and know anything about Narnia. But it's about these two kids that grow up in, well, they're in London, and they're neighbors, and how they end up kind of meeting each other, and they have their own little adventure. And the boy, Diggory, his uncle is a magician, and he makes these special rings that have the power to send you through time into like different places. It's not really like traveling. It's not like traveling in the way of like time travel, like the way it is in like a Wrinkle in Time or anything like that. It's not like they're going to the future; they're just going into a different dimension of time. So actually, it is kind of like a Wrinkle in Time. Now that I'm saying that. But yeah, and when they return, right, like when you return, there's no like time passed as far as like in your actual time. Interestingly enough. So he just develops these rings, and he kind of tricks the kids into testing them out. And then through like their travels of trying to do this or whatever, they witness the birth of Narnia, which is pretty cool. So that's why it's totally a prequel, because it's actually before Narnia really exists, and it's how it becomes Narnia. I liked reading it, and I liked getting the story behind like where the wardrobe comes from. It's in the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, and like there's a whole explanation as to where that comes from, and there's an entire explanation as to how like the time traveling stuff happens, or the traveling through dimensions happens, I should say. And like who these kids like grow up to be and stuff. That was pretty cool. It was a really fun and interesting read. It was a ride, and I finished it and was like, I'm totally on board with this whole Narnia thing. I'm absolutely a fan. I'm joining the fandom right now. I can't read the rest of them. I do have the rest of them, and I intend to read this. So yeah, that was nice. So that's it for July. I read 4 books. Not very many, but I read some pretty good ones, so that's good. I think I got into a little bit of not really a slump so much. I was just focusing on other things other than reading. So I didn't get a lot done, but that's cool. Still read some books, and I like it, and I read some good ones at that. So, yeah, that was July. How was your July? Was it good? Did you get a lot of books read? Did you get ones you really wanted to get read? I'm actually really excited. Looking at what I have planned for August as far as readathons I'm doing and stuff. The books that I'll be attempting to consume during that time is gonna be great, and I think that'll be fun. Anyway, so that's what I read. Good stuff. I know part of not really getting a lot completed too is that I did start a book, and I tried reading it for like a full week and just couldn't get into it. So there was that too. There was a do not finish on my list this month, which was actually The Garden of Eden by Ernest Hemingway, which is weird. And it's even weirder to me that I have a degree in English language and literature, and I don't recall reading Hemingway at all. Save like one of his short stories, I think it was, we read in one of my like classic literature classes. But strange, right? Like really weird to me that I haven't read any Hemingway. And I do like his style a lot, but I couldn't get into the story. So that was my do not finish this month. So you can like tag that on, but it wasn't a completed book. But yeah, and that's it. So that's what I read in July. Have you read any of the books I mentioned? What have you read by Hemingway? Really, are you a Hemingway fan? Have you read Hemingway? Because I would like to try to read another one of his books. I keep looking at A Movable Feast because I love the movie City of Angels, and that's the book that Nicolas Cage's character reads. Well, he reads through other people, like when he's listening to their thoughts or whatever, if I remember it. But he is obsessed with that book because it's so descriptive about food, and he can't eat because he's an angel. All that good stuff. So yeah, City of Angels. Because of that, A Movable Feast I'm kind of drawn to read that one. But I would like to try to read another book by Hemingway, just because I did really enjoy his style. I just could not for the life of me get into that story. I really tried, and I wasn't feeling it. I can't do that. I can't read a book I'm really not feeling. It doesn't work for me. Yeah. So like the video if you liked it, and comment below if you have any questions, if you have a Hemingway book to suggest, or anything else to suggest based on what I read. And I will see you in the next one. Happy reading!